Hi, this is Venkat. In this series, I am going to show you simple examples of PaloAlto firewall basic configurations. And I am using a GNS3 emulator to simulate the PaloAlto firewall on my PC. And I hope you all know how to install the GNS3 server on your PC using VMware. And I will be showing my specs on my GNS3 server. What are the specs I have? So I have 30 GB RAM dedicated to it, 10 vCPUs. So this is very good enough to run a big network with 20 nodes. If it is like a Cisco switch and router, anything less than 1 GB. So for now, I need to have a PaloAlto firewall and a virtual machine that we can log in to the PaloAlto firewall. So I have already imported the PaloAlto firewall onto my GNS3 server. If you want, I will also show you how to do that. If somebody comments currently, right, I will show you how to run the PaloAlto firewall and initially configure it and get access to it. And then in future videos, I'll show you different basic simple configurations that you can use. You can learn to configure the PaloAlto firewall. So let's grab a PaloAlto firewall. I have the PaloAlto firewall with the 8.0 version on it, and I'm going to use a VM desktop. And so right now we do not need any internet access to the firewall. The only thing we need for the initial configuration of the PaloAlto firewall is a management access. So you see, plug in the new GNS3 versions right now. So if you see the number of interfaces enabled on this VM version of the PaloAlto firewall are these, management and interface, like 24 interfaces have been assigned to this VM. If you want to configure the PaloAlto firewall initially, you have to use the management port if it is a VM, and if it is physical appliance, you even also need management port access. So you have to connect a management Ethernet cable from your PC to a laptop to the firewall and boot it up, and then start the initial configuration. That's the same way we are going to do right now. So let's connect the firewall to the management port and then connect the VM to the Ethernet. So I have connected my VM and PaloAlto firewall to the Ethernet and Ethernet port and to the management port, and I'm booting them up. My Linux machine is already, my Ubuntu Linux machine is already been booted up. I'm logging in. The default configuration for the PaloAlto firewall on the management interface is on the 192 network, that is 192.168.1.0.1. So if you want to change the management network on the if you want to custom configure even management IP address on the PM on the PaloAlto firewall, I will show you that, right? So you see what I have. So I have my PC with the 10 network, same thing, pointed gateway to 10.10.1. I will use 10.10.1 to clear the PaloAlto. So to log into the PaloAlto firewall initially, we have to wait for a couple of minutes. Even if you try to log in, it won't take the login for some reason. So it should say PA login or PA thing. And the default username password is admin for the PaloAlto firewall. You got to wait till it accepts your login credentials. Okay, so now if you see, there are a bunch of different login prompts over here. If you see PAHDF login and just a login, but you got PAVM login, that is you are now you have the prompt to log into your PAVM, so it should accept the login now. If you see now, it does accept the login. So to initially configure the PaloAlto firewall, just type configure, and it goes to configuration mode, and then type set device config system IP address dot and dot and dot 1 net mask 0550. You don't, if you want, you can type give the default gateway. If not, it's better to use default gateway for the management traffic. Default gateway 10.10.2. Type static. The type is nothing but it's what kind of route you want for this interface to to forward the connection, to forward the request. So we are using static route. So let me rewind the configuration commands. So set device config system IP address, type the IP address, net mask, type the net mask, and default gateway, type the default gateway, type static. And you can also type DNS servers over here itself. That should be done before you type the static, that is DNS settings, right, servers, primary. I want to give my primary has the GNS3 server 92.168.122.1 type, and now you can give static. Hit command. So okay, so it is not taking with the type, so type static. Okay, so if you want to enter the set device system DNS settings servers primary 1.1. So this is what this is how we configure the DNS server and the management IP address and this route to it. And after once we finish with the configuration, then type commit. Takes a couple of seconds to do that. If you say you commit, type was successful. So it interface management. See, you have IP address set to 10.10.10.1, netmask 255.255.255.0, gateway 10.10.2. So we are all set now. Let's VM, close it in the terminal, see whether we have the correct configuration. Config, okay. Let's ping the local IP first, and then ping the default IP. So I can reach the firewall now. I have the reachability to the firewall, so let's log into the firewall. Firewall. https://.10.10.1. Just give the certificate error. Okay, so even on the web interface, you have your username and password is default, that is admin. I'm using admin to log into it. and this is not a licensed VM, so we have some limitations on using this firewall. So but we will use this firewall as much as we can and play with it, and I will show you all the maximum features that I can show you by using the free VM, free licensed unlicensed firewall. And then once we are done, then I will use the licensed version which I have on my AWS and Google Cloud, and I will show you the other advanced features on that. So for now, let me zoom this. I can read all. So if you see, it does have all these banners with, it's like a logging system where you can see all who logged, when logged, and everything. And you also have syslogs over here. And to configure an interface on the firewall, go here, and if you see Ethernet 1, Ethernet 2, Ethernet 24, so it has 24 Ethernets configured on this VM. So that's the reason why we did see on the VM 24 Ethernets with one management interface. So now each Ethernet is a gig Ethernet, and in the PaloAlto VM the internet bandwidth depends on the usage of the power of the VM. That means if the amount of RAM and processors you dedicate to the VM. So if you have like 16 GB RAM and like 6 cores or 8 cores processor, each interface can act as a gig interface. So the interfaces are flexible, so they depend on based on the usage. So now let's configure. So this is how it looks. So go to interface, network, Ethernet, interfaces, Ethernet. We have on the interfaces, we have Ethernet, VLAN, loopback, tunnels, and currently we configure only the Ethernet. So let's click on the Ethernet one, and on the VM version we have tab, hub, virtual wire, layer 2, layer 3. We will go with the layer 3 configuration and do the basic configuration to get the access to the internet. Okay, so when it comes to the route, I'm using default route. When it comes to the security zone, I want the Ethernet one to be on the outside zone, so I'm using outside. And the IP address, if you want to add the static IP address, just type 192.168.100/24. You can use slash, the subnet is based on you. You can give 24 or like whatever the subnet you want to give as a default, as a required. If not, you can use /32 also. It does take it. And if you want a DHCP client, you click the DHCP client and it takes the route from it, gets the IP address from the DHCP server. And if you want the default route, and if you want the route, and you may think how the route would be generated for the DHCP, and whenever you click over there, whenever you select the route, I will show you how it looks like for the DHCP. So it is static and the DHCP. So if you see, it says enable and automatically create default route pointing to default gateway provided by the server. So whatever you configure on the server for this DHCP pool, that's from where it gets the route. So and if you click this box, it gets the route from the DHCP server. If not, now you can manually do it. So we have, okay, we missed something. So if you see, configure, so we have the default route, virtual router, and we have assigned this zone, security zone, to the outside. We have given IP address, we want IP basics address. And when it comes to advanced, it has link speed and link duplex. That's for we can use this for the physical interfaces, like on the physical appliance. So if you see the link state, it says auto, and the auto, which the firewall we don't recommend using auto, because the firewall don't detect the status of the interface. So we have to push the interface to up. And when it comes to management profile, so once we make the link state up, we have to assign a management profile for this. So as this is an outside interface, we have to limit the management profile. If somebody wants to log into the firewall from outside interface, we have to restrict the with the security policies. So I wanted to name the the management profile for the outside is outside file. I only just need ping, HTTPS, and SSH. Only these are the three things I want, but in real time you don't even give SSH and HTTPS, and not even ping, or you don't even give any of these on the management interface, because we are not going to use the outside interface to log in or to do any activity on the management interface. The outside zone is strictly restricted with nothing to be allowed to access the firewall. So but as this is a lab, I'm just I'm just showing you how the outside interface management profile looks like. So we have done the interface 1, the interface 2. My VM is only with 2 GB RAM. That's the reason it is slow. So I will change the configuration the next when I reboot the time. So I have set the layer 2 out security zone. I will change it to go inside press n.11.1/34 up entries and LLDP. If you want to enable LLDP, you can do that. If not, that's fine. Which I don't want it now. So address here. Looks like we have configured the port. Let's commit. And this is, you see, so even though we made the interface up, these looks red link because physically these interfaces are not connected. Once we connect them, it does get it. So for the outside, I want a internet access. So app cloud, which DNS3 provides, that is the cloud that we get. Excuse me. This is the cloud that gives access to the internet to the DNS3 apply to inside the DNS3. So we have that, and I need a switch. So let us see what it is. See now, once the physical cable get connected, they turn to green. This is how we configure the interface as on the layer 3 type. I will show you in the next video how to configure the layer 2, that is for the VLANs. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.